After I got together with Sophia, "I like you" became something I said all the time. Sophia's reactions were always adorable. She'd turn her head away with a sundera flare, roll her eyes with exaggerated indifference, trying her best to keep up that aloof goddess persona. But her cheeks would flush bright red. I was drunk on the sweetness of love. Until one day, an audio file titled "Confident but Basic Guy" Ethan simp quotes started spreading like wildfire at school. Beginning was a genuine confession from me: "I like you." Then came Sophia's disdainful voice: "If it weren't for helping Lucas take back the top spot in our grade, I wouldn't have wasted a second talking to Ethan. That simp. He acts like he's never seen a girl in his life. Staring at me with those thirsty eyes. Spouting those cringy pickup lines. It's so greasy it makes me sick. So I guess flushed cheeks don't always mean a racing heart. I guess saying you like someone can just be an act." I didn't dwell on it. I transferred schools almost immediately. Vanished from Sophia's world without a sound. Until a year later. Sophia, crying as she searched for me everywhere, accidentally found a video on her little sister Clara's phone. A video of me confessing my feelings. The Clara Chapter 1. That night, I reclaimed my spot at the top of the grade rankings. And that same night, someone dropped an audio file titled "Confident but Basic Guide" Ethan simp quotes into the class group chat. Seeing my name in the title made my stomach sink. Nervously I tapped on the file. At the start was my heartfelt confession: "I like you." And then Sophia's annoyed rant followed. If it weren't for helping Lucas get back to being no one, I wouldn't even her talking to Ethan at simp. He acts like he's never seen a girl before. Always ogling me with those lusty eyes. And throwing out those cheesy pickup lines. It's just gross. My fists clenched instinctively. I could feel my nails digging into my palm. Sharp pain shooting up. But I only tightened my grip. As if pain on the outside could numb the ache inside my chest. In the class group chat, everyone was going wild. Ethan really is a simp. I remember him buying Sophia gifts. And she just tossed them the second he turned away. Someone else replied, "LMAO, simps always end up with nothing." Another chimed in, "That's BS." I remember it was Sophia who made the first move. "Argue all you want, but I'm right." Someone backed them up exactly from the start. Sophia only got with Ethan to distract him, so his grades would drop. That way Lucas's ranking would rise. Another added, "Men. I always wondered why Sophia, who grew up with Lucas, suddenly got with Ethan, the new transfer student. Turns out it was the classic honey trap, hahaha." More voices joined in. Honestly, Ethan hadn't even transferred in yet. And Mr. Ito was always ranked first. The moment Ethan showed up, Ito got dethroned. I'd be pissed too if I were him. And another said, "Serves him right." Honestly, Sophia wanted something. And he'd bend over backward to get it. Ran miles to buy her food. Poured out all his feelings. That kind of simp was bound to get played. Everyone was having the time of their lives gossiping. Totally forgetting I was still in the group chat. Or maybe whether I was there or not never even mattered. Lucas and I were two different kinds of people. He was the class president. The model student, quiet, brilliant, by the book. While I was cheerful, outgoing. Easy to get along with. At least I thought I had a good relationship with my classmates. But today I finally realized it was all just my own wishful thinking. Silently I left the class group chat chapter 2. I felt that no matter what, I still needed to confirm it with her directly. So I called Sophia. I wanted to ask her in person. Was it really like what the recording said? That she was only with me because of Lucas. And being with me made her sick to her stomach. The phone rang for a long time. Before it was finally answered. There was a noisy, lively background on the other end. Sophia's soft and sweet voice hit directly in my ear. She said, "Ethan." I paused for a second and asked, "Aren't you supposed to be resting at home?" Before Sophia could reply, I heard a familiar male voice in the background. He laughed and said, "Sophia, come on, it's your turn." I heard it loud and clear. That was unmistakably Lucas's voice. Sophia quickly said to me, "Ethan, something's come up here, let's talk tomorrow." "Okay, I'll hang up for now." Before I could say anything in return, she had already hung up in a rush. The busy signal beeped sharply in my ear. I held onto my phone. A bitter feeling welling up in my chest. One that I couldn't quite put into words. Chapter 3. My mind was a complete mess. Just then a WeChat notification popped up on my phone. I tapped to open it. It was a video from Lucas in a dimly lit private room. The lights were hazy and suggestive. Lucas and Sophia were playing a game, where they passed a beer bottle cap, mouth to mouth. On top of the lit bottle cap, there was a tiny dice teetering on the edge. Sophia's cheeks were flushed pink, and with her cherry lips holding onto the cap, she gazed at Lucas with shimmering eyes like a sweet, obedient kitten. Lucas smirked and said, "Whose brilliant idea was this game anyway? Mouth-to-mouth bottle cap passing. And the dice can't fall off." People around them thought he was backing out, and began teasing him loudly, asking if he was scared, or just couldn't handle the game. Sophia looked visibly disappointed at their words. The sparkle in her eyes dimmed. Then out of nowhere, Lucas leaned in and took the cap straight from Sophia's mouth. He turned his head and spat it out, then kissed her deeply on the lips. A handsome man and a beautiful woman, locked in a passionate kiss. The scene looked like a romantic painting. Everyone watching froze for a couple of seconds, then erupted into deafening cheers and screams. When the kiss ended, Lucas glanced at the bottle cap, now lying on the ground, and gave a lazy chuckle. "The dice fell," he said. Then he casually raised H hands. "I surrender." The video ended there. Lucas followed up with a few more WeChat messages. He said, "Ethan, congrats on being first in the year again. But oops, my bad. Heard you asked Sophia out for Japanese food after school, and she turned you down. Wanna guess why?" "Ha ha ha, because I asked her out after all. Since I lost to you in grades, I had to win somewhere else, right? Borrowing your girlfriend for one night. Hope you're not mad." I looked at his provocative texts and suddenly, I laughed. How nice. All the things I'd been confused about, they finally made sense now. Chapter 4. After school today, I did invite Sophia to get Japanese food. At the time, I was still riding the high of scoring first place. In the exams I was walking with a spring in my step. Probably a little too full of myself. I said that restaurant's been open for half a year. And it's always packed. I've been wanting to take you there forever. Sophia rolled her eyes at me, clearly uninterested, even a little irritated. She said, "It's just first place. Is it really something to get that excited about?" I chuckled smugly and replied, "Of course it is. Our school is the top among the 4 famous high schools. I got first in the entire grade twice in a row here. Isn't that impressive? Isn't that something to be proud of?" The gloom on Sophia's face only deepened. I read the room, and finally noticed that she didn't seem happy at all. She hadn't done well in this exam, sure. But she never really cared about grades. And her parents had never pressured her to excel. Academically so. It shouldn't have been the reason she looked so upset. Then what was it? Could it be that I did too well? And it made her feel bad by comparison. With that thought in mind, I confidently took Sophia's hand and said sincerely, "Grades don't mean everything. Everyone has their own strengths. In my heart, Sophia is just Sophia. Whether you do well in school or not, I like you all the same. And I promise, no matter what you want to do in the future, I'll always be your biggest support." Sophia yanked her hand away and snapped viciously. "Ethan, aren't you tired of these cheesy pickup lines? You're the biggest simp I've ever seen in my life." I froze, staring at her, a little stunned. There was a dull ache in my chest mixed with confusion. What did I say wrong this time that made her blow up? Like this is expressing love to someone you like? Really just being a pathetic simp? My parents are deeply in love. They always told, "Son, don't hide your love. Say it out loud. Don't be stingy with your affection." Was everything they taught me all wrong? Sophia looked at my stunned face. And a flash of regret passed through her eyes. Her tone softened. She bit her lip and said, "I'm sorry, Ethan, I've just been in a bad mood lately. I want to go home and rest. Let us go for Japanese another day, okay?" I quickly smiled and waved it off, telling her it was fine. But the Sophia who said she wanted to go home and rest ended up meeting with her lover. It was only today that I finally understood. A flushed face doesn't always mean she's in love. Turns out even love can be faked. Chapter 5. As I sat at my desk spacing out, my mind kept replaying memories from when Sophia and I were together. A year ago, my dad's company expanded its business, and I transferred to this school. Sophia and I sat at the same desk. Her desk was always cluttered with stationery. But she never studied. She was either snacking or sleeping still. As a seatmate, she wasn't hard to get along with. She was quiet when she slept. Sometimes she'd bury her face in her arms. Other times she'd rest her cheek facing me. In the early morning light, with the sunrise just beginning to glow, sunbeams would spill across her face, casting a warm tint on her delicate features. Her long lashes curled upward. Her nose was perfectly shaped, her lips soft and pink. The sight of her like that left me completely dazed. All I could think was, what an impossibly beautiful face. Then suddenly Sophia opened her eyes. We locked eyes. I was stunned. But she just smiled mischievously and asked me her very first, "Do you think I'm pretty?" I was flustered, heart pounding like crazy. I quickly pretended to be busy flipping through my book, acting like nothing happened. Things like that kept happening. With all her subtle hints and quiet encouragement, I began trying to get close to her, to pursue her. Soon enough we were together. She was my first love, my very first girlfriend. I took our relationship seriously. To be fair, Sophia wasn't a bad girlfriend, at least not at first. She always mocked my gifts for being tacky. But really she thought they were too expensive, and forced me to return them, even though she'd lose her temper with me often. When winter approached, she knitted a scarf and gloves and gave them to me. There was one time I got sick and was hospitalized. She stayed by my bedside the entire night, without sleeping a wink, not even taking a sip of water. All these memories now feel like shards of glass digging into my heart. And they finally made me give up. I composed myself and knocked on my dad's study door. Even though I tried my best to act normal, my dad still picked up on something being off. He asked, "Ethan, what's wrong? You seem a little down. Did something happen? I sighed and said, Dad, I don't want to stay at this school anymore. The pressure is just too much. I want to transfer. Without even thinking, my dad agreed. He patted me on the shoulder and said gently, All right, you can go wherever you want. Just do your best with your studies. Don't push yourself too hard. Even if the sky falls, your dad's here to hold it up for you. Got that? Hearing his words, my nose stung. I almost couldn't hold back my emotions. Chapter 6. My mom heard about my plan to transfer schools, but didn't ask why. Right before bed, she just pulled the curtains shut and dimmed the desk lamp. A little before leaving, she said softly, Mom will support your decision unconditionally. I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep, but surprisingly I did. I fell asleep as soon as I closed my eyes. The next day, my dad went to school to handle my transfer paperwork. I had originally planned to go with him, but he stopped me and handed me a card. He said, I'll take care of it. Use this chance to relax, have some fun. Buy what you want. Don't worry about saving money for your old men. But honestly, I didn't have anything I really wanted to buy. I casually picked up a few game discs and cartridges, and spent the whole afternoon gaming at home. Then stopped by a bookstore. My favorite author had released a new book, and the store just happened to have the last copy. I reached out to grab it. Just then a voice of surprise came from behind me. Awesome, Lucas, there's still one left here. Without hesitation I picked up the book. Turning around I saw Sophia and Lucas. The two of them stood together. Handsome guy. Beautiful girl, like a picture-perfect couple. Sophia froze slightly when she saw me. She asked, Ethan, why weren't you in class? I didn't answer. I walked right past them, heading to the register. But Lucas stepped forward and blocked me. Ethan, give me the book. I'll pay 10 times the price. How about that? I've gone through every bookstore today, looking for this. They're all sold out. This is the last one. I refused, flatly expressionless. I said, sorry. I'm not short on money. Lucas's face went pale all of a sudden, and he gave a slightly awkward smile. Sophia frowned and said to me, It's Lucas's birthday today. Can't you be a bit more generous and let him have it? They'll restock soon, just wait a few days. I shot back. Then why can't Lucas wait a few days? I picked up this book first come first served. What's the problem? Sophia scoffed in disdain. Oh please Ethan, are you jealous or something? She spoke with a mocking tone. Be honest, do you even like this author? You just saw. Lucas wanted it and decided to mess with him, right? Lucas curled his lips and smiled smugly at me. I stared directly at Sophia and said, So that's how you see me? Maybe I look too serious. Sophia's eyes flickered, and she muttered with a slight pout, Well, isn't it true? You're a grown man, do you really have to be this petty? Just wait for the restock. I couldn't be bothered to argue. I shoved past them and paid for the book. Suddenly, I turned around to look at them and asked calmly, You really want it? Lucas hesitated but still nodded. So I sneered casually, tore the book apart, stuffed it in the bag and threw it over. Then I looked Sophia in the eyes and said word by word, I don't want it anymore. I don't want her anymore, Sophia. From now on, no more news, no more traces. Just the quiet mountains and clear spring grass. Chapter 7. I didn't want to run into Sophia and Lucas ever again. So I transferred to South City High, in the neighboring town. South City was a top school, just as good as no one high. I adapted quickly, and I caught up with the teacher's pace in no time. This time I buried myself in studying. No socializing. Until the day the monthly test rankings were posted. I accidentally got first place. My classmates crowded around the list chattering away. Whoa, am I blind? Clara's dropped to second place. You're not blind. I saw it too, no way. Who's this Ethan who's ranked number 1? Never seen him before. A girl, he's in our class. Rich, good looking but kinda hard to get along with. Pretty withdrawn, someone else added. Seems like he just transferred here from no one high. Another person said, oh, from number 1. Never mind. Then that one asked, what's that supposed to mean? What's so great about number 1? Don't act like we're not good enough. Another classmate said. Looks like Clara's finally met her match. Can't wait to see the drama. While everyone was chatting away, my heart sank halfway down. So even South City had a top-ranked genius. Lucas had already left me with a psychological scar. To avoid unnecessary trouble, I knocked on the homeroom teacher's office door. During lunch break, there was a girl in the office too, strikingly pretty. Slim with refined features and a quiet demeanor. I couldn't help but glance at her a few more times. She probably noticed me looking. As I stared one glance after another, she slowly lowered her already lowered head. The teacher asked me what I needed. And I remembered why I came. I said, Ms. John, I'd like to take a look at Clara's exam papers. The girl lifted her head and glanced at me. Ms. John looked at her first. Then turned back to me and joked. Why do you want to see her paper? Got a crush on her? Ms. John was in her 30s but had a baby face. Dressed like a college student. A very approachable teacher. I wasn't surprised she joked with students. But before I could even feel embarrassed, the girl's face turned red. I looked at her in confusion. And saw her pale face slowly turn redder and redder. Almost like it was on fire. Ms. Chan asked again. I quickly replied. I just want to see how top students answer questions. So I can learn and improve. Ms. Chan smiled and said. Clara didn't score higher than you. Don't come back showing lower scores next time. I instantly broke out in cold sweat. No offense intended. But truth be told, I did want to score lower. I wanted to assess her abilities first. Then in the next exam, I'd deliberately keep my score below hers. To avoid stirring up unnecessary drama. Ms. John didn't make things difficult. And handed me the test papers. I carefully went through them. And after getting a general sense of Clara's level, I returned them. As I was leaving the office, the girl left too. We walked down the corridor of the school building. One in front of the other. Then we each walked into class 1's room. Turns out we're in the same class. Chapter 8. That little episode didn't really catch much of my attention. I went right back into machine mode. Shutting out the world and focusing only on studying. Soon after we had 2 more exams. I dropped from the top rank to second place. Each time scoring exactly 10 points lower than Clara. Everyone's attention turned back to Clara. People were all saying how impressive she was. Easily beating a former top student from no. 1 high. Secretly I was thrilled. Nice one, me score control mission success. On my way back to the classroom. My steps were noticeably lighter. But then at a quiet corner someone suddenly stopped me. It was the girl I had seen in the office before. Her bright eyes were practically blazing with fire. She looked angry and gorgeous. She asked, Ethan, what exactly is your deal? I was baffled, huh? She looked even angrier. She puffed up and said, huh, what, huh? Carefully I said, hey, maybe you've got the wrong person. I don't know you. Isn't there someone else in our school? Also named Ethan. The moment the words left my mouth, It was like I poked a hornet's nest. Her eyes turned red. And her voice was full of disbelief and hurt. She said, "You don't know me. You seriously don't know me. What's wrong with that?" I looked at her with complete innocence. The girl gritted her teeth and accused me. "Ethan, you're being such a jerk. You asked the teacher for my exam papers, saying it was to study. But actually it was to control your score. Every time you're exactly 10 points behind me. Do you think I'm dumb and wouldn't notice?" The more she spoke, the sadder she looked. A thin mist welled up in her eyes. She said. "And what's worse," she paused. Then went on, "You didn't even know I'm Clara." I was thunderstruck on the spot. Oh God. So Clara was that girl I met in Ms. Chan's office. Chapter 9. That day, I almost made Clara cry. Being exposed by the person herself. I did feel a bit guilty. Controlling my score like that was kind of arrogant. Honestly, I just wanted to keep a low profile. Who would have thought? I ended up making a scene right in front of the person. I wanted to avoid a mess. Chan almost died laughing when she heard. Turns out she's Clara's aunt and she loved the drama. She even rearranged our seats, so that we became desk mates. Clara looked at me seriously and said, "Ethan, please respect me. Stop manipulating your scores." I nodded hard. Holding up 2 fingers, I said, "All right, I swear." After becoming desk mates with Clara, I realized she was truly gentle by nature. Whenever she couldn't out-argue me with logic, she would give me this helpless, slightly wronged look. Her way of addressing me even changed. From Ethan to little Ethan. One afternoon my mom called. She said a girl from no one high had come to our house. Really pretty. Looking very sad. She said she was here to deliver a book. And asked about me. My mom said, "Son, is your transfer related to her?" I didn't take her book. I told her you went abroad. I was surprised she guessed so easily. After all, I'd hidden my relationship with Sophia from my parents. My mom chuckled and said, "I'm your mother even if you don't say it. I can tell." Hearing about Sophia still made me a bit sad. Coincidentally, our latest exam results came out that day. Clara beat me by 1 point. She blinked in disbelief, her long lashes trembling. She asked, "You didn't hold back this time, did you?" I pretended to be devastated, covering my face and wailing. "You beat me by 1 point and still want to humiliate me. My heart hurts. It was just an act. But somehow it really did sting a little. I actually started to feel down seeing me so gloom." Clara panicked. She apologized in a flurry. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I didn't mean it like that. Forgive me, please. If you forgive me, I'll do anything you ask." I instantly sprang back to life. I leaned close to her and asked with a grin, "Anything?" Her cheeks turned pink. She gave a shy little nod. I got excited, rubbing my hands together, racking my brain, but came up with nothing. My desk mate David, who I'd gotten pretty close with lately, rolled his eyes and suddenly had an idea. He said, "Hey, AI girlfriends are super trendy right now. Right, have Clara pretend to be your girlfriend until the college entrance exams." He looked at me eagerly and asked, "What do you think?" I stared at Clara and asked, "What do you think?" Clara's eyes widened. Then her face turned bright red. She lowered her voice and said, "No need to pretend." I saw her eyes sparkling, her bright gaze reflecting my dumbfounded expression. Chapter 10. The moment my heart started racing, I chickened out. I fled in panic. That's when I finally realized I'm a total hopeless perv. Whenever I see Clara's beautiful face, my brain crashes and I lose all ability to think. You might think that's normal, but it's not. It's dangerous. So I started avoiding Clara. I even asked David to switch seats with me. When Clara came to ask me questions, I replied solemnly, "You're not allowed to talk to me." She nodded obediently and said all right. But soon after she came back with more problems. She said, "Little Ethan, can you help me with this question?" I replied, "No talking." She pouted and said sadly, "Sorry, I forgot again." And so the cycle repeated. Chapter 11. Sophia got a call from her sister Clara late at night. Clara very seriously asked her how to make the guy she liked fall for her. They were biological sisters. When they were 10, their parents divorced. Clara took their mother's last name and went with her. Sophia stayed with their father. Even after all these years, their sisterly bond remained. Sophia was a little surprised and asked, "Sis, are you in love?" Clara shyly admitted it. She said, "I like him a lot. But I don't know how to make him like me back." Sophia felt dazed. A voice from her memory echoed. That boy had said, "Sophia, you're so cute. Sophia, I really like you." He had always told her he liked her openly. Sincerely, without reservation. A teenage boy's feelings are intense. She couldn't help but be moved by him. Like orange soda bubbling up in her heart. Rippling, turning into a sweet and sour secret. She almost forgot that she'd been with Ethan. Because of Lucas. But Lucas had noticed earlier than she did. He had jokingly asked, "Sophia, don't tell me you've actually fallen for Ethan." Her hidden feelings, fragile, unspoken, were suddenly exposed. Pride made her deny it. She started carrying a voice recorder in her pocket, secretly recording every moment she spent with Ethan. She cut up every one of his heartfelt confessions, turned them into a simple quote compilation, then pretended to be disgusted, saying Ethan was too cringy. Back then she was pathetic and cowardly, trying to hide her racing heart by humiliating him. She sent the quote compilation to, as if to prove that she really didn't like Ethan. But what she didn't expect was, Lucas secretly sent that file out behind her back. That night at KTV, while playing the bottle cap passing game, she looked into Lucas's eyes. But in her mind she saw Ethan's eyes instead. Bright, sincere, passionate, unforgettable. Her heart skipped a beat, but the next second, Lucas lifted her chin and kissed her deeply. After the kiss, Sophia was completely shaken. She actually felt like she had cheated. She thought she was going crazy. How could kissing Lucas feel like cheating? They were childhood sweethearts. Weren't they supposed to be perfect for each other? The last time Sophia saw Ethan was at the bookstore. They argued over a book. Sophia asked him to give it to Lucas. At the time it seemed simple to her. It was just a book, right? Ethan was rich. Once it was restocked, he could buy as many copies as he wanted. But later she realized she was wrong. And she would never get the chance to make it right. Because Ethan suddenly disappeared. Before she could even realize how she truly felt about him. He vanished from her world without warning. And it wasn't until then that she found out that simp quote compilation had been leaked by Lucas. Furious, she went to confront him. Lucas tilted his head and replied coldly, "Sophia, you recorded those yourself." Sophia's face went pale. That's right, she recorded them herself. If she did, why be afraid he'd hear them? She tried to convince herself. So what if he disappeared? It didn't matter. It was all fake anyway. But over time, Sophia found herself thinking about Ethan. More and more. By the 99th time that cheerful, confident smile popped into her head. She finally admitted it. She liked Ethan too. She went almost crazy. trying to find out where he'd gone. Pestering the homeroom teacher. But the teacher didn't know either. All she could find was the address of Ethan's family villa. She went there, holding the book she had carefully prepared. Ethan's mother answered the door. She wore a polite smile, but her eyes were distant. She didn't take the book, and told her Ethan had gone abroad. Did he really go abroad? With tears in her eyes, Sophia walked away from the Ethan house, her heart heavy. It started drizzling softly. The shops on the street were blasting deafening music. Later I finally learned how to love. But sadly you were long gone. Vanished into the crowd. Gardenia's white petals land on my blue pleated skirt. I love you, you said softly. I lowered my head and smelled a faint fragrance. Sophia's heart broke. She stumbled and suddenly fell to the ground, crying her heart out on a street corner, surrounded by strangers. Big sis, are you listening? Clara's voice suddenly pulled her out of the memory. Sophia replied, what? Clara said. I was asking how to get a guy I like to like me back. Absent-minded. Sophia said you got a short skirt, stockings. Seduce him. Clara was speechless. Right before hanging up, Sophia suddenly remembered something and asked, by the way, is there a new transfer student at your school this term who gets really high grades? Someone with a sunny smile, very cheerful. His name's Ethan. On the other end there was a brief burst of static. Then Clara's gentle, calm voice came through. She said, no, never heard of him. Chapter 12. The semester ended quickly. I went home for the winter break. Clara messaged me on WeChat every day, sharing little moments from her life. Sometimes she sent me a photo of the bright moon. The moon is beautiful tonight. Sometimes she sent a picture of a dog. Looks like you. I was speechless that night. Clara suddenly sent me a video of herself putting on stockings. Her movements were natural, slowly sliding the stockings up from her calves, over her long, fair legs, inch by inch disappearing under her skirt. Her pale skin was now sheet in sheer black, adding a faint mysterious allure. I never expected Clara, who looked so quiet and gentle, to have a figure like that. Who wouldn't lose their mind watching this? I quickly saved the video, then slowly replied with a single question mark. A second later Clara recalled the message. She replied, sorry, sent it to the wrong person. I stared at her, guilty, backtracking, amused. Good thing I saved it in time. Fast hands win, slow hands lose. I tossed my phone on the bed and didn't reply. After I got out of the shower, I saw that Clara had sent over a dozen messages. I really sent it to the wrong person. Why aren't you replying? Picture crying kitten. Okay, fine. I didn't send it by mistake, I meant to show you. I thought you'd like that kind of thing. You're a gentleman. I was too bold. I'm sorry. You don't think badly of me, right? I'm really sorry. I won't do it again. Talk to me, please. I'll apologize in person. I'm coming to see you. I was dumbfounded. In the middle of the night, she was coming to my house just to apologize. Does that make sense? I didn't know why, but my heart started racing. At 12:10 a.m., my phone screen suddenly lit up with a new message. From Clara. She said, little Ethan, come to your window. I rushed to the window and looked down. Clara stood outside my house smiling and waving. She looked pure and elegant, her figure slim and graceful. The night wrapped around her, the moonlight glowing softly on her face, like a painting that shouldn't be disturbed. I could hear my heart pounding like thunder. I think I finally understood how I felt about her. I threw on my shoes and ran downstairs worried. I asked Clara seriously. You really came all the way here this late? She pouted and said. I told you I wanted to apologize in person. Her cheeks were flushed as she looked at me seriously. I'm sorry, Ethan. I like you, but I don't know how to show it properly. So I did something stupid. You don't hate me, do you? Hate? What kind of question is that? That kind of stupid thing. She can do as much of it as she wants, but I hesitated. Feelings at this point in life. I felt I should be more cautious. But I took a deep breath and said, Clara. Maybe we could try. Clara's eyes lit up, but she suddenly cut me off. No, Ethan. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was calm and resolute. She said, you can't say yes just because you're afraid. Rejecting me would hurt my feelings. That kind of love isn't real. I can wait, I'll wait until you truly fall for me. After the college entrance exams. Give me your answer, okay? Chapter 13. In the second semester of our senior year. We all buckled down. Our minds were fully set on studying. Even David, usually laid back, was tense as if heading into battle. Time flew by as the college entrance exams approached. The school gave us time off. I didn't touch a single book. Just stayed home zoning out. Resting for a day. That night I got a WeChat message from Clara. Just a short good luck, I believe in you. When I walked into the exam room, I was full of confidence and everything went smoothly. After finishing the final subject on day 3, students surged toward the school gate. Like a roaring river. Parents had been waiting outside for a long time. Everyone was hugging, screaming, crying, laughing. All those sounds woven together. They were an ending and a beginning. Marking the close of high school. And the opening of a brand new chapter in life. After the exams, I began to seriously think about the promise I had made with Clara. She didn't rush me. She only asked me on WeChat which school I was applying to. Capital University. On the day of our class dinner, I caught a terrible cold and didn't go. I lay weakly on the couch staring at my phone in a daze. My dad came over and checked the thermometer. He nodded and said, not bad. The fever's gone. Suddenly I sat up and looked at him, scratching my head. I said, Dad, there's something I want to ask you. So there's this girl I like. My dad's lips curved into a smile. His eyes full of warmth. Feeling a bit embarrassed, I rubbed my nose and said, she likes me too. I just don't know if we should be together. My dad patted me on the back. He said, Ethan, don't overthink it. I know you kids always talk about simps and all that. But I think it's too simplistic to label someone who cares for another person and gives genuinely as a simp. Tell me, am I good to your mom? And isn't your mom good to me too? What I want to tell you is, the ones who deserve blame are those who trample on others' sincerity, not the ones who offer it. There's nothing wrong with treating someone well. What matters is whether that person is worth it. So if both sides are sincere, why shouldn't you be together? Son, don't leave yourself with regrets. Suddenly everything became clear to me. I stood up and said, thanks, Dad. Then I booked the soonest high-speed train and rushed to find Clara. Last time she came to see me. This time it was my turn. When I got to Clara's building, I remembered she was at the class dinner. I didn't want to message her. I wanted to surprise her. So I sat on the steps and waited. It didn't take long before Clara appeared in my sight. I jumped to my feet like a missile. I dashed forward and wrapped her in a hug. Looking at her, I confessed with complete seriousness, Clara, I like you. Let's be together. She smelled faintly of lavender. Her cheeks flushed red. And when she looked up at me she seemed a little dazed. She asked, "Am I dreaming?" She pinched her cheek hard, her eyes slowly clearing, a bright light exploding in her gaze. She cried out, "Ethan." I said, "It's me." She asked in a trembling voice, "What did you just say?" I looked at her and said word by word. Before I transferred to South City, I had a failed relationship. My feelings were trampled like they were worthless. So I became a coward. I was afraid, I didn't dare express how I felt. But the truth is, I've liked you for a long time. Let's be together, Clara. Clara stood on tiptoe and kissed me. Suddenly startled, I pushed her away. "I've got a cold. I don't want you to catch it." She shook her head and said, "It's okay, we'll be sick together." Chapter 14. Clara's mom was away on a business trip. Only her sister was home, no adults. She sneakily brought me into her room. The moment the door closed, I pressed Clara against the wall and kissed her. Then slowly moved downward, kissing along her neck. Clara let out a soft moan, her breathing quick and sexy. She rested her hands on my shoulders, letting me do whatever I wanted. Her gaze was dreamy, her lips glistening like rippling water. Just as our kiss deepened, someone started banging on the door. We instantly sprang apart through the door. Clara said, "What is it, sis?" "I'm going to sleep." A woman's voice laughed mockingly from outside. "Open up or I'm calling Mom." I sneaked into the wardrobe feeling guilty and nervous. Clara opened the door. The voice said, "What are you doing in there, Clara? Wow. Why are you wearing a camisole and stockings at home?" "Don't tell me." "Did you?" Clara cut her off. "It's not what you think," the voice chuckled softly. "All right, fine, guess it's just me overthinking." The hallway went quiet. Thinking she'd left, I crawled out of the wardrobe. My nose was already blocked from the cold, and now crammed in the closet. I was dizzy and almost out of air. Then suddenly I heard a trembling voice behind me. "Ethan!" I turned to the sound. Sophia stood at the doorway. Fists clenched, eyes red, staring at me. Chapter 15. I didn't expect to ever see Sophia again. And I definitely didn't expect that. Sophia and Clara were biological sisters. They were nothing alike. Neither in looks nor in personality. Complete opposites. With a hoarse voice, Sophia apologized to me. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I was immature back then. And I did things that hurt you." I looked at her with an expressionless face. Sophia clutched my sleeve and slowly sank to her knees. Her voice trembled. "Ethan, I've missed you so much. After you transferred, I kept searching for you. I nearly went crazy trying to find you. But you completely disappeared. Like you were gone from the world. Ethan, I love you." That audio clip was sent by Lucas, not me. I didn't know anything about it. I never meant to hurt you. I've completely cut ties with Lucas. Now could you give me another chance? I pried her hand off my tone, calm and indifferent. Could you stop being so cringe? All this talk about love. How you went crazy trying to find me. Seriously, isn't that embarrassing? Didn't you say? Those cheesy love confessions were gross and fake. You've got some nerve. And now you say Lucas leaked the audio. Would he even have it if you hadn't recorded it? Now you want to play innocent. You're pathetic, Sophia. Don't her apologizing. It's a waste of time. I'll never forgive you. Sophia looked at me in despair. Then suddenly she pointed at Clara in anger. "And you think she's any better than me? She knew I was looking for you. I even asked her. Asked if she'd seen a transfer student named Ethan. And she said no. She straight up said no. If I'm despicable, then what about her? Isn't she just as bad? She's nothing but a two-faced pretentious coquette. Smack! I slapped Sophia across the face. She froze in place stunned. Eyes wide with tears, but she didn't say a word. I didn't look at her again. I turned and took Clara's hand. Walking straight out the door. Without a backward glance. Sophia stared at us hand in hand, close, leaving together. Then she just let herself fall backward. Collapsing onto the cold hard floor. The bright lights above stung her eyes. She covered her eyes with the back of her hand. Tears rolled silently from the corners of her eyes. It felt like she had completely, irreversibly lost Ethan. Chapter 16. Not long after. A video of college freshmen from Capital University confessing their love to each other went viral online. A cheerful boy looked at the camera and said sincerely, "I like you." A beautiful girl blushed, speaking with a mix of seriousness and childlike pride. "I like you 100 times more than you like me. More than yesterday and less than tomorrow."